Hey guys, Ultra Maximus back with a movie review. Today we're going to talk about The Batman. Just released today at the time of this recording. I went yesterday at the previews filming, and it's funny because they used to only have like one or two shows. I remember you used to have like one showing on Thursday nights, like at midnight or something, and you could watch it. And nowadays they start at like 3 o'clock. So I went at 3:30 in the afternoon yesterday, and I wanted to talk about it. So I will give a non-spoiler review here at the beginning, and I will give you a warning when I'm going to go in and talk about spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled on the movie, once I give you that warning, jump out of the video. You can't say I ruined it for you. And if you don't really care and want to hear the spoilers, or you've already seen it, then we can sit and talk about it. So yeah, The Batman. Overall impression, it is a good movie. It's not great. It's a good matinee movie for sure. It's a good date night movie. Um, it's not as good as the Nolan films. It's not the Dark Knight for sure. But I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and I compared it to Batman Begins. I felt the same way about Batman Begins when that first came out. It was not my favorite Batman movie, but it wasn't a bad Batman movie. The Dark Knight might be the best Batman movie that we've gotten, and that's because of Heath Ledger and the Joker. I think between that one and the 1989 Batman, those are my two top tier Batman movies. This one's good, not great. Um, the vibe of the film is very much like Seven, if you've seen that movie, where they're going through and looking for, I think, a Zodiac, not a Zodiac killer, but the seven deadly sins killer guy. Very similar to that in tone. Gotham, it's always raining. It's always dark and gross and gritty, and they really, really captured Gotham City from the comic books in the movie, I think. So that was really good. The beginning of the film starts off like a horror movie. It really, really does. So interesting. And this film dives into the whole detective thing and figuring clues out and that kind of thing. And it's also a year two Batman. So we knew this was going to be at the beginning of his career. Um, but it's very much taken, I think, from the Batman year one, year two storylines. He's got a little journal and everything. So yeah, he's very much early in his career, which is pretty awesome. And it really shows in Batman. I mean, there's no like 3-point superhero landings, and he's very violent, physical with everybody. He's got his gadgets, like Batman has, but he doesn't use them as much. He's more fist and boot kind of come out of the shadows and beat the crap out of people, which is fine. That's good. But he's not graceful at all. And there's some really good scenes with that that really made me chuckle. So very, very real worldish, I think. So that's the Batman we're getting. So how does Mr. Twilight come across? Was it Robert Patterson? How does he come across as Batman? I like his Batman. I really do. I think the Batman, when he is Batman, he does a good job. When he's Bruce Wayne, not so much. I did not like his Bruce Wayne. I just didn't. I really did not. It was very forced feeling, and I didn't care for it. That being said, I really didn't care for Val Kilmer or George Clooney's Bruce Wayne either. I thought those were pretty bad. So take it for what it is. I think he does a good job with Batman. He just not. There are some scenes with him as Bruce Wayne that are decent, but more often they are forced. So give or take. The Riddler, I hated the mask. I hated the mask in the trailers. I hate the mask in the movie. It's not the Riddler to me. They did it to make him more menacing. Whatever. It is what it is. I don't like it. I still don't like it. I think he looks better, you know, without it. But it is what it is. And the actor, I think it's Paul Dano, which I didn't know him. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. He does a fantastic job as the Riddler. He does a great job just acting utterly insane. So kudos for him. Very, very good. Um, Other characters in the movie, the Penguin. I think the Penguin stole the movie for me. Every scene that Colin Farrell is in is fantastic. He does a great job portraying the Penguin as a mobster. Love it. And apparently, he's going to get his own HBO Max show this upcoming summer. So I'm interested in that. He did a fantastic job as the Penguin. Just a great job. The car scene that we see in the trailers is awesome. I really didn't know if I was going to like the Batmobile or not in this. It's fantastic. It's awesome. It's big. It's, girthy. They really kind of lead it up to that coming up. You see him working on the motor through like half of the movie, I think. And it's nice. It's big. It's muscle car-y. And it's got bulletproof glass and armor on it, and it's pretty awesome. So, and that scene feels like it's 20 minutes long. I think it's probably 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but it's a pretty long scene, and it's a great scene. So that was really cool. But yeah, Penguin, probably my favorite character in the movie. I will say Catwoman, pretty good. I liked her as Catwoman. It was funny. She said, "We're not going to sexualize Catwoman in this." Yeah, she's about butt naked in a couple spots in the movie. Yeah, she's totally Catwoman, down to the core. She did a good job as Catwoman. I didn't mind her Catwoman at all. Trying to think, Jim Gordon, the guy that plays Jim Gordon, I can't think of his name to save my life right now. I think he's in Westworld. He does a good job as Jim Gordon. I didn't have any issues with him as Jim Gordon at all. And then John Turturro um, plays a mobster in the movie and does a great job. Of course, he's John Turturro, so is what it is. So lots of mob. The whole plot of the movie is the Riddler wanting to expose the corruption of government and being involved with crime. And that's the whole plot of the movie. So you got to go through, Batman's going through, and he's following all the clues and figuring what are all the connections and that kind of thing. So very detective oriented type of stuff, and him picking up clues and this, that, and the other. And I like it. I like that aspect of it. We have not got a Batman film like that. So I do like that. I think that is a great idea. It's just a little miss on certain spots for me, and not too many. It was, again, it's a good movie, not a great movie. But if it makes enough money, then they can continue, and they can grow into the characters, and make something good. Look at the Dark Knight trilogy. The Christopher Nolan trilogy. I thought the same thing of Batman Begins. It was a good movie, not a great movie. And then The Dark Knight was just like phenomenal. So who knows what we could get in a second or third film, and it definitely sets up for a sequel. So if it makes enough money, they will for sure make a sequel. Box office numbers for yesterday. Deadline said it made 21.6 million in the previews. Variety and Hollywood Reporter are all reporting the same thing. So 21.6 million in previews. So that's a pretty good overnight for one night. 21.6 million is pretty darn good. So we'll see what the numbers do over the weekend. So yeah, that being said, it's a really good matinee movie to go to. It's not a bad evening movie to go to. It isn't. For sure. I did get, I wish I would have brought them in. I did get the little bucket and cup from the movie. Let me see if I can find a picture of them. And I went to Regal. Let's see. The Batman, they're in the dishwasher. Popcorn, bucket, and cup. Let me see if I can find them real fast. Yeah, here we go. Dun, dun, dun. This is not my picture. I actually have, you know what? I've got a picture of it on my, what am I doing? I've got it on my Instagram. Hang on a second. Instagram. My Insta. All right. Here we go. My Instagram. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, it's Ultramaximus Reviews on Instagram. Please come check me out. All right, so yeah, this was my popcorn bucket and Coke. This was really cool. This was a fun little thing. I always get these. I use the buckets for like bird toys and snacks and things, and then I always like the cups. The cup was really the cool deal. This is actually etched into it like it was stone, which is really cool. So we had Batman on one side, and then when you turn the cup around, it's the Batmobile on the other side, etched in the cup again like it was steel. And then it's got the Batman logo up here on the top in red, although it kind of looks like the Batman Forever logo, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so that's what you get at Regal. The popcorn bucket and the cup. Definitely dig the cup. Very solid plastic cup too, like very reusable, which is very, very nice. The popcorn bucket's the typical plastic popcorn bucket, and even in on the bucket, it looks like it's raining, so it's like always raining in Gotham, and they do hit that. So yeah, I mean it's a good flick to go see. I would recommend to go see it. Especially if you're a Batman fan, it'd be a good date night movie. You know, it's good to get back out into the theaters, I think, and get out of the house and go watch a movie. It's not The Dark Knight, so don't think you're going to see The Dark Knight going to see it. Think more, have your expectations more, I think, on Batman Begins. So yeah, overall, I did enjoy it. There is a scene, I will say a clip, not really a scene. There is a clip after the credits. I will not tell you what that is in this portion of the review because I don't want to spoil it for people. So yeah, that is basically the movie. So there it is, the non-spoiler review. It is good. It is not great. I think Patterson did a good job as Batman, not so good as the Bruce Wayne. Love the Penguin. The Riddler was scary. Don't like the mask. Catwoman was exactly what we expected on Catwoman, and Jim Gordon was Jim Gordon. And it really follows Jim Gordon and Batman. It's like the Jim Gordon and Batman movie. Like they're in it through the thick of it throughout the movie. So a lot more Jim Gordon than I anticipated. Alfred is in it. I forgot to mention him. Andy Serkis plays Alfred. He does a pretty good job as Alfred. Not in it too terribly much. He's only in for maybe a total of 10 minutes in this movie. It is a very long movie. It's like 3 hours long. And yeah, he does a good job as Alfred. He kind of oddly disappears not halfway, about 3/4 through the movie. Like when they wrap the movie up, I guess by the way they're telling the story, he wouldn't have shown up again. But yeah, I noticed him oddly absent towards the end of the film. But yeah, he does a good job. He does a good Alfred for sure. So yeah, good movie, not great. We'll keep it at that. So there it is, my non-spoiler review of The Batman. If you do not want to be spoiled, because I want to talk about specific things in the movie and talk about some of these spoilers, turn this video off right now. Go watch something else. Go watch another one of my movies or my videos. Check it out. But I am warning you in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. All right, so spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. We are going to talk about spoilers in the movie. Okay. Yes. What do we want to talk about first? So, the opening scene. Let's talk about that. Loved it. It's like a horror movie with the Riddler. While I do not like that mask at all, I hate that mask. It looks like a ripoff of Leatherface to me. Not a fan of it. Um, it worked for that particular scene. It was creepy as hell. And him standing behind the mayor while the mayor is watching the returns and not even seeing him, not even, I mean, it just shows how wrapped up this guy was in his life. You know, you didn't even notice what's going on behind him. And he's just standing there watching him. I mean, that was just straight out of a horror movie. And then he goes and attacks him. And the way he kills people, I mean, you can tell he's all, jacked up in the head. So I really, really did dig that. I loved all the riddles. I liked the cards, the little custom cards, and you would tape them and keep them everywhere. Those type of things. I thought that was fantastic. Um, I liked how we really didn't know who he was until he shows up at the end. There was a scene at the funeral, the mayor's funeral, where they had a wormy guy. And I don't know if that wormy guy was actually him or not. I'd have to go back and watch again. And then there was another guy. It was a little bit grizzled, and he was like, "Wait a minute, don't I know you?" Talking to Bruce Wayne, and it was like, "Oh, is that the Riddler? Is that the Riddler? Is that the Riddler?" And then you see him up in the balcony, but you can't see his face. And I don't think that was either. Well, I know the grizzly guy wasn't, but I don't think the wormy guy was him because I don't think we really see him until the actual very, very end, which is kind of interesting. And the actor did a great job with the Riddler. He was nuts, and he looked like the Riddler. Once they got the stupid leather domination mask off of him, he looked like the Riddler. So that was cool. I did like that. Um, and that was fun. I did enjoy that. I liked how after they caught him, the movie wasn't over. He still had other plans and diabolical stuff going on. That was fun. I really liked how Batman thought the Riddler figured out who he was, thought he was Bruce Wayne, and he's like, "Oh, here we go." And they teased it a couple times, like unmask the truth, and when he goes to visit him at Arkham, I like that. He's like looking at the camera, like, "Oh, here it is. I'm done." And that was cool. I liked that as well. And it turns out he doesn't. Um, that those were pretty good. I liked it. Again, the Penguin. I love the Penguin throughout the whole thing. John Turturro as Falcone, fantastic. He did a great job as Falcone. I wish we could have seen Maroni. We see the newspaper on the wall, and they talk about it through the film. So I like the Falcone Maroni bit, but I would have liked to have seen Falcone and Maroni both in the movie. The tying of Thomas Wayne to Falcone was interesting. I didn't like how they made Martha Arkham. Like her family was in charge of Arkham Asylum, or they started it, and she had mental issues, and I didn't care for that. That was a little, yeah, a little much, and it forced into the narrative that they were trying to do. I wasn't a particular fan of that. I also was not a particular fan that Selena Kyle was Falcon's daughter. You know, wasn't a fan of that. Overall, I think they did a decent job with things. Bruce Wayne, every scene that Bruce Wayne was talking to Alfred was so forced. I did not care for that at all. Like he could not, Patterson just could not portray it felt so fake. It was forced. I didn't feel a connection between those two. I didn't see any chemistry. I think Andy Serkis did a good job on his end. It's just I don't know if little Twilight was trying to be all moody and emo, and he's very emo as Bruce Wayne in this, which is weird. I get a haircut, kid. It just, yeah, that kind of drove me bonkers. But the Batman, every time he was Batman, it was pretty good. The Joker's gang at the beginning was pretty good. I liked that. I liked how he came out, the big stomping boots, and he just beats the crap out of people. That was pretty cool. Things I did not like. They stayed away for the most part away from the woke BS. the things that I noticed in the movie that kind of were cringy to me when Selena Kyle was saying they got to get back at all the rich, white, privileged men. Ugh, God, I hate that crap. Um, it just that drives me nuts. And it was if they would have played it a little bit better, like because she doesn't know who she's talking. She doesn't know it's Bruce Wayne, right? So he's kind of like I'm one of those white privileged men, bitch. So they could have done it a little bit better, but it was still cringy. I did not like that. The other two wokey type of things. Catwoman was bisexual, I guess, because she was with this Russian chick. Kept calling her baby. She got killed at the beginning of the movie. That's who she's looking for. Her girlfriend. She ends up getting attracted to Batman, so she's obviously bisexual. Whatever. I can see Catwoman being like that, but it just was a little virtue signaling to me. She might as well had a pride pin. I did like her when Batman was in her apartment and they were talking. Batman was a little bit of a creeper too. He was creeping around in her closet. When they're talking in the uh, apartment, he looks down. There's like a cat down there, and he's like, "You got a lot of cats." I really like that. I thought that was funny. And then in the chase scene with the penguin, and after he flips upside down, and we see in the trailer where he's walking up, and the penguin's upside down, and Batman just kind of looks into the car like this. I thought that was pretty funny and pretty good. The other woke cringy moment for me was at the end of the movie when Batman's beating everybody up on the top of the basically the stadium, the basketball stadium, or Gotham Stadium, whatever it's called, Gotham Gardens. And then the guy hits him with the shotgun and blasts the crap out. He gets the crap beat out of him a lot in this movie, which is funny. But nobody ever shoots him in the face. Like, they got machine guns and all this stuff, and they never go to shoot him in the face. And finally, Batman's dangling by one arm. The guy's got the shotgun up to his temple on his helmet, but not at his face. It's just like, what are you doing? Or his eyeball or something. Come on now. And Catwoman has to come and save him because she is the strong woman of color and she's got to save him. Of course she does. And I don't know if because I'm becoming jaded because of all this wokeness or the fact that she does do that periodically in the comics. So I will kind of give it that. And they do redeem it a little bit because immediately afterwards she's like, "It's over, we won, what's done," and she goes to kiss him, and then the bad guys are like, "Nope," and then he's got to go and save her, and he saves everybody else. So those were the wokiest things I noticed really in the movie, aside from some race swapping with Selena and Commissioner Gordon, which is what it is. Both actors did a good job, so I didn't mind at all. They were really, really well acted roles, so I was down with that. That was fine. But RKO, the YouTuber RKO over with Geeks and Gamers, he, I guess, may notice I was watching Yellow Flash, and I didn't notice he brought up on his was it his Twitter, I think. He noted after watching the movie yesterday that all the white men in the movie, except for Alfred and Bruce Wayne, are bad guys. And all the good guys in the movie are people of color. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of is. I don't know if we call Selena Kyle a good person or not. She's definitely in the gray. But yeah, they definitely vilify all the white guys. But at the same time, I would say, like what we think of the mob, the Italian type mob structure, it's mostly white dudes from New York and New Jersey, I guess, is the fanciful role of what the mob is in movies and TV shows. So I don't know, I think it's because they swapped Catwoman and Jim Gordon, I guess. Those are really the only other two good guys in the movie, per se. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny, and I guess Twitter exploded on him for that, which like the woke mob went nuts on him, and which whatever they do it. They do it all over the place. But yeah, so those were kind of interesting bits. Now, the other big thing is at the end of the movie, we get to see the Joker, a proto Joker, the director called him. He looked a little scarred and mangled, and I swear he had sharp teeth, and he had kind of wild hair, and he was in the cell next to Riddler at the end in Arkham, and basically telling him, you know, hey, you got a friend in me kind of deal, and everybody loves a good comeback story. So they really set it up for a sequel with the Joker. So he'll definitely, if they make another one, he'll definitely be a main character in the second movie. Probably bring back the Riddler, I would guess. Um, so yeah, that was the big reveal at the end of the film. As far as the end credit scene, uh, yeah, that was a bit lackluster. If you have not seen that and you want to know what it is, it's basically the website, the URL that Batman goes to talk to Riddler, and it says it's got the little question mark as the little C drive colon thingy, and then it just says goodbye, and it flashes like the URL and goes blank, right? Um, I really liked when they were talking or trying to figure out the rat with wings, the El Rata, and they're like they make a big point of the Spanish. You know, how do you not know La versus El? La Rata, it's not El Rata, it's La Rata, and then you are El Rata, and they were like URL, and they go to rata with wings.com. It's a URL website. So I liked that. I thought that was clever. And they didn't really think about it until, halfway through the movie. So that was pretty clever. And they brought a lot of like Twitch and TikTok streaming type of stuff in, which was fun. Which is how he got his, group of followers and his little minion army. And they're like, there's about 500 of them following him. And I didn't really think about that up front until towards the end of the movie when everything was going down. I'm like, okay, that was well placed, well put away. So pretty good in those kind of aspects. I did enjoy it. I may go back. This is a movie. I don't know if I'd go see it again in the theater, maybe at a second run theater for like $2. I wouldn't mind going back and looking at it again and seeing if there are any other dots to connect on things. I really didn't see too many other Easter eggs that stuck out a lot to me in this. But again, maybe a second watching would do it. I don't know if I would buy the Blu-ray on this like I did for Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I'm going to do that for Spider-Man No Way Home. I think Spider-Man was a way more fun movie than this one. Again, this is not a bad movie. It's a good movie. It's not a great movie. So yeah, what did you guys think of the movie? Leave a comment down below if you've seen it, or if you're going to go see it this weekend. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of Patterson's portrayal of Batman? Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Did you like the Leatherface Riddler look or not? Let me know. Drop a line down below. You can jump over my Facebook page, join the conversation there at Ultra Maximus Reviews. You can also follow me on Instagram at Ultra Maximus Reviews or Twitter at Ultra__Maximus. And as always, look for more videos in the future.